Hello everyone, it is I, the Fable of Fables, your new best friend. That's right, I'm reacting to even more Gundam. I believe somebody wanted me to react to this, but I could be wrong. To be honest, I've lost so many of the screenshots I had of the what you all wanted me to do, so let's just go for it.
Unlike some of the alternate universes, in the Universal Century, it isn't always straightforward whether or not a unit really is a Gundam. So today we're having a look at the story of the Gundam TR-1 Hazel 2, the story of the little Jim Quell that could.
Oh,
At
it's a
some point
gem.
during Universal Century 0084, the Titans test team was established with the goal of not just testing out new machines for the Titans, but also using these machines in real combat. And in the early days, almost all of these machines were developments from either the Jim Kai or the Jim Quell. So for ease of maintenance, a spare Jim Quell was stationed on board of their mothership, the Owsla. By itself, this was already a formidable fighting machine. While it was a simplified version of the Jim Custom that was streamlined for mass
Look
production
at
by the
that
Titans,
beautiful boy. Oh, look at it. Look at it, it's so beautiful. It's a
it
gem.
still kept the high performance of the former and even managed to be better in some regards. The biggest upgrade was made on the arms, where the traditional inner frame was replaced by a revolutionary system that would be further developed into the movable frame technology used by the Gundam Mark II and future transformable mobile suits. It also had extra sensors mounted on its legs, and the existing ones were also upgraded. What made the Jim Quell stationed aboard the Owsla special then was the fact that its head was replaced with a Gundam-style head. Again, so that it could easily supply spare parts to their main machine, the Hazel, and later the Hazel Custom.
The
Because of
Hazel
this, the unit
custom.
was dubbed the Hazel Reserve Unit. As far as its combat performance was concerned though, the head was functionally the same as a Jim Quell head, so other than the psychological factor of looking like a Gundam, for all intents and purposes, the Hazel Reserve Unit was still equal to a normal Jim Quell. A color variant, known as the test color type, is also known about. Here the top of the feet and the main sensor are white and the color is yellow. So originally the machine wasn't intended as a combat machine,
Oh, really?
but due to the rapidly deteriorating situation, it wouldn't be long before the Hazel Reserve Unit was also pushed into action. For this
Aw.
purpose, it was equipped with the experimental Tri-Booster and had its designation officially changed from RGM-79Q to RX-121 Gundam TR-1 Hazel 2. The unit was sometimes also called Hazel Unit 2, with the Hazel Custom being Hazel Unit 1, and this configuration specifically was retroactively known as the early type. The Tri-Booster then featured two movable thruster pods that had an early version of the movable frame technology and could therefore also be used for AMBAC maneuvering. The central unit then was a Sturm Booster that could act as both a thruster and a large capacity fuel tank. Because of this, the Tri-Booster greatly enhanced the performance of the Hazel 2 and gave it fantastic maneuverability. However, this setup was not
Oh
without its
my
issues
goodness, look
either.
at that.
The Tri-Booster was originally intended to be used with the normal Hazel, so it turned the more lean Hazel 2 into quite a temperamental machine to
It
pilot.
looks like it
Another
would
issue
be.
was that the center of gravity of the backpack differed significantly enough from the center of gravity from the mobile suit due to the Sturm Booster. This created excess momentum, exaggerating lateral maneuvers. Still, despite all of this, the Hazel 2 would go on to become an excellent performer thanks to its pilots, and the data from the Tri-Booster unit would prove instrumental in the development of later mobile suits with movable frames like the Gundam Mark II. Another upgrade to the machine was the inclusion of the normal Hazel's shoulder units, but because it didn't normally go into combat with arm-mounted shield boosters, grenade launchers were usually installed on them. Another piece of optional equipment was the full armor set. This consisted of extra chest, front skirt, and back skirt armor, and while it did increase its defensive capabilities, It also significantly weighed down the unit.
I
For
can
the
see
original
why.
Hazel Gundam, it was deemed too heavy, but with its new Tri-Booster unit, the loss of speed and agility for the Hazel 2 was still within acceptable parameters. The next upgrade then was to the main sensor on the head. This was now replaced with the same extensive sensor array as the Hazel Gundam and turned the Hazel 2 into its most famous configuration. It was also at this time that the Hazel 2 became Elliot Hunter's designated machine and that it would be painted in the distinctive Titans Test Team yellow pinstripe color scheme. In this form, the machine would also be used to test out the new double booster backpack. This equipment was originally meant to be tested out on the Garibaldi Beta high mobility type, but due to the pilot defecting with the machine,
Oh
it was
no.
instead tested out on the Hazel 2 instead. Other than using two shield boosters, the booster pod they were attached to was also redesigned and redesignated as the multi-connector pod. This configuration then became known as the Hazel 2 high mobility
Can someone tell me why that the pilot defected? Is it because the Titans are actually giant buttholes?
type, although it was sometimes also referred to as simply the Hazel 2 double booster. And just as with the Tri-Booster unit, the double booster unit was also powerful enough to justify the use of the full armor parts, resulting in the Hazel 2 full armor.
Oh my
In
lord.
UC-0087 then, when the fight with the AU began heating up, the Hazel 2 would go from being a Titan's test unit to being a Titan's combat unit. Along with this, its coloration would once again be changed, and it would typically sortie with the Tri-Booster backpack. The next
Oh
big
my
upgrade
lord.
then would change the Hazel 2 into the Advanced Hazel. First, the unit was fitted with the same upgrade parts as the Hazel Custom, turning them into essentially the same machine. And then secondly, it was outfitted with the advanced parts that the unit was named after. The feet were outfitted with extra thrusters, the waist was equipped with a sub-arm unit after these had been successfully tested out by the Hazel Custom, and the head was outfitted with a high-precision sensor unit that was on par with that of the GM Sniper 3. It could also open up to reveal an extra mono-eye sensor on the underside. Although the backpack remained the double booster unit, a new type of shield booster called the Enhanced Shield Booster was tested out on the Advanced Hazel. Rather than just serving as a passive shield and booster unit, this new version had 10 scattering beam guns mounted on it, so that it could also shoot down incoming missiles.
Oh Jesus.
The downside though was that it could carry significantly less propellant than a normal shield booster, and was therefore inferior in its role as a booster. At the time, this was considered to be the completed version of the Hazel Gundam, and so
Oh, no, there's
many of
another
its
one?
design elements would be used in the Titans' next generation mass production mobile suit, the Barzam.
What
Although
in
it
the
is
world is that? What is that? Look at it. I like the colors. The blue and yellow, kind of nice. But what in the world is that?
commonly known as the mass production version of the Gundam Mark II, there is no doubt that the advanced Hazel's experimental feed boosters and mono-eye sensor turned the Barzam into the unit we all know today. Even its legs feel more like redesigned Hazel legs rather than Gundam Mark II legs. The later refined Barzam then
Whoa, my dude, you look very cool looking, but like, whoa.
would change these for more Gundam Mark II inspired legs, in addition to many other changes that would actually make it look more like the Gundam that it was designed after. But back to the advanced Hazel now. It wouldn't remain the completed perfect Hazel for long, as they would soon begin upgrading it again. One important concept that was often around with Federation prototype machines was the Core Fighter Escape Craft that could not only rescue the pilot, but also the valuable test data. And for the Hazel, this came in the form of the Emergency Escape Pod Primrose. One important difference with the Core Fighter line though was that the Primrose could only escape its Gundam. Once separated from the rest of the machine, it could not recombine itself, whereas the Core Fighter could separate and recombine as much as it wanted until it got shot down. But what made the Primrose very interesting was that it was also compatible with all of the Hazel backpacks
Oh my lord,
and
look at
many
that
of its
thing.
weapons. So it's not fair to say that it was just an escape craft. It was a formidable space fighter in its own right, although it wasn't used as such very often, because of course it would be used mostly with the advanced Hazel, a combination that would become known as the Hazel Owsla. At its core, this was just the advanced Hazel with a new torso and shoulder armor that the Primrose transformed into, and would most commonly be seen with the Tri-Booster backpack, long blade rifle, missile pod, a shield booster on the left, and a mega particle cannon on the right. And just as the Primrose by itself, this unit could also use other Hazel parts like the twin shield boosters and the Furryvtuber parts, which would then lead to one of the more crazy
What is this? Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. What is this design? Why does a mecha need a power suit, like an actual armor suit? That looks so weird. I feel like I've seen this before with some stuff mecha shown me, but like, why? Why is that a thing? It looks kind of silly to me, you know what I mean? It's just, ugh.
crazier Hazel designs, the Hazel Owsla Gigantic Arm Unit. As its name indicates, this unit was equipped with the giant arms of the recently completed Psycho Gundam.
Oh god.
One thing that the Titans were apparently very good at was standardizing their equipment, making the giant arms very easy to attach to the G parts of Furryvtuber 2, which was in turn very easy to attach to the Hazel Owsla. And even though the Hazel didn't possess a Psycho system, these arms with their beam cannon fingers still gave the Hazel a significant boost in firepower. It is even said that plans were being made to attach the Psycho Gundam Mark II's arms to it.
Oh, sweet lord, not the Psycho Gundam. I did a video on that. That thing is so stupid. At this point, I feel like the Titans were just like, how can we make things bigger and more explosive and just be stupid?
This never made it past the planning stage.
I'm glad it didn't.
Another crazy configuration then was the Gundam TR-1 Fiver 2, sometimes also referred to as the Hazel Owsla Last Shooting version. To put it simply, this was the same unit as the gigantic arm unit, but instead of the giant arms, it now had the giant Fiver 2 unit equipped to it. This was a heavy assault mobile armor with a development history completely of itself. The Hazel Owsla was then further modified into the Gundam TR-1 Hizantli, or Hazantli, which involved mounting parts of the Hizantli 2's torso onto the Owsla's torso,
Oh my lordness,
replacing
look
the
at that
upper arms
thing.
and shoulder armor with those
Seriously, look at that thing. Damn.
of the Hizantli 2, and then mounting a new head that appeared to be a combination of both. Because of this, almost all of the original Jim Quell parts had been replaced by either TR-1 or TR-6 parts. And of course, as with all of its predecessors, it could use all of the Hazel's equipment and backpacks. But it would most often be seen with its new Hizantli 2 backpack, shoulder-mounted beam cannons, long beam rifle, and a new sub-arm unit that was made out of the chest and arms of the TR-6 Woundwort. This unit was then further developed into the final form of the advanced Hazel, the Hizantli Raw.
Holy moly, Pozzoli. Jesus Christ, look at all that stuff.
In short, this was the Hizantli equipped with 2 Furryvtuber units, giving it a massive maximum weapons loadout. It now came standard with 2 shoulder-mounted beam cannons and 2 long beam cannons, and could be equipped with up to 4 extra beam cannons, one for each of the Furryvtuber pods.
Christ.
And if all of that still wasn't enough, it
How's
could
that not
also
enough?
dock with the giant Fiber 2, Dandelion 2, or Inlay mobile armors.
Oh
The
my
only
lord.
thing missing here are the sub-arms on the crotch, so that it could carry 2 more weapons. But wait, There's more.
Why?
By attaching a booster to it, it would become the Hizantli Raw 2 cruising form, in which it was usually equipped with an even bigger beam cannon that was developed from the Big Wig's prototype high output beam cannon. So, sufficient to say, this was truly the final form of the advanced Hazel.
But
It
why?
wasn't just the most powerful, but it could also be configured to meet a variety of mission types. But with the unfortunate collapse of the Titans, this was truly the end for this machine. We can only imagine how far they could have taken this souped up Jim Quell had they had even more time. So again, the question I ask you is, at which point did it go from being a Jim Quell to being a Gundam? Was it when the head was replaced? Was it when the model number was changed? Was it when it attained its final form as a Hizantli Raw 2? Or was it somewhere in between? Anyways, that has been all for this development history of the second Hazel unit. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more similar content. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great day, and I'll see you all next time.
I feel like I have more questions than answers. Anyway, guys, if you like this kind of content, please do like, comment, and subscribe. I want to go for a walk. I kind of need a break. I need to do some stuff anyway. I'll see you guys later. Take care. I'm just... Why?